Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Elevate Podcast. I'm Ebony.
And I'm Reggie. We hope you had a beautiful Thanksgiving full of rest, connection, good food, and maybe even a moment to just breathe a little deeper.
Yes, and as we ease out of the holiday haze and back into real life, this is such a perfect time to reflect. That space after Thanksgiving, but before the holiday rush kicks back in, is where clarity happens.
That's right. So today we're talking about gratitude in business. Not just the easy and obvious things, but the lessons, the pivot, the people, the setbacks that grew us, and everything in between.
Because gratitude isn't just a feeling, it's a strategy.
Sure is.
It slows you down, brings perspective, and it helps you approach the end of the year with intention instead of anxiety.
So whether you're an entrepreneur, a leader, a career pivoter, or someone just trying to make it through these last few weeks of the year, this episode is for you.
So grab your tea, your leftovers, or whatever you're doing right now. Let's jump into what we're thankful for in business and what we're carrying with us into the new year.
All right, let's do it. So everybody, let's get into it. We want to welcome you all again, as we said in the introduction there, back to the Elevate Podcast. And today we're talking about, what we're thankful for in business. And we want to pause real quick here before we get started and just say we hope everyone, all the listeners, wherever you are, we hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Hope you spent plenty of time with friends, family, people you loved. And so what we decided...
And had good food.
So what we decided to do today is how do we bring that sort of energy into the Elevate Podcast space. So what we want to talk about is how do you be grateful in business during those tough seasons? That's going to be, not 100% of what we deal with today, but some of it.
Yeah. So not only how do you deal with being grateful in tough seasons, but how do you just deal with being grateful in business in general?
Yeah.
It is important that if you are blessed to have a business, if you are blessed to have a career, whatever you do to make money, it's important that you approach it with a sense of gratitude and thankfulness because there is someone else somewhere that would love to be in your shoes.
Absolutely.
So you need to appreciate exactly where you are right now.
I'm telling you, man. Even, no matter, I don't want to jump too far ahead of what we got planned, but no matter what you think you didn't get accomplished, again, like Eb said, there are people who would give anything to trade places with you right now. So when I think about Thanksgiving and I think about as it relates to business, it seems to me like I find myself really ramping up as we get towards Thanksgiving every year. Because it's kind of become for me not the point in my business where I put it on cruise control the rest of the year, but I do take inventory of where I am, the numbers that we've hit, what do we have left to hit. Definitely don't shut it down after Thanksgiving, but it's just kind of I think it's if you fly often or if you've ever flown, it's kind of like that point where the pilot comes on and says, they cut the lights back up in the cabin. And
we're about to begin our descent.
There you go. We're about to begin. So the flight's not over, but again, you're looking to bring it in for a landing. So that's kind of what Thanksgiving is for me from a business perspective.
And there can be a lot of stress and anxiety with ending the year, especially in business or in your career, because the goals that you set for yourself throughout the year, they become more present and more forefront in your mind. So even when you're trying to work on something else, you may be taking inventory, like you said, to see if you are anywhere close to whatever goal you said you were going to complete.
Absolutely.
So it's some stress that comes along with end of the year and trying to rush and get things done before you mentally shut off. Or if you're in a business like ours, we deal with customers. So we not only have to deal with when we shut it down for the year, but when our customers decide to shut it down for you.
Absolutely. So, you talk about that stress and anxiety. That's why I want us to look at Thanksgiving as not just a holiday, but, an invitation to pause, breathe, and just realign with what truly matters. And for the professionals out there in their 40s, 50s, those who we cater to, who are pivoting, maybe you're rebuilding, recovering from burnout. This season, guys, offers a very powerful moment of clarity, okay? It reminds us that gratitude is more than a feeling. It's actually a strategy, a cheat code, if you will. We're gonna explore that a little more about how gratitude can be a cheat code. Because life, we all know life can get heavy.
It can.
It can get heavy, uncertain. But what gratitude can do is that it can shift your focus from what's draining you to what's sustaining you. And, I don't use this platform to push any religious deal or whatever, but based on my own convictions, I lean very heavily on who I know sustain me. So that's and for that, I'm very grateful. Gratitude grounds us in purpose, renews our energy, helps us to see opportunities that are hidden. Opportunities are hidden inside of challenges, you all. And I think we've made that abundantly clear. Opportunities don't come knocking as, hey, it's an opportunity here. No, they come hidden inside of somebody else's pain, a problem someone can't solve, an issue someone is having. That's where the opportunities lie. So again, Thanksgiving encourages us to slow down, appreciate the progress we've made, as Ebony mentioned, the lessons we've learned, the relationships that support us. Oh, man, I want to talk about the relationships that support us throughout this year, and some new horizons that we see forming ahead.
That's true. And sometimes the biggest blessings are disguised as the hardest moments.
Oh, ain't no doubt about it.
You got to get through it to see the blessing.
Ain't no doubt about it. So, Eb, let's talk about some of the unexpected wins that we had this year in the business. Some of the wins we had that we did not expect, but and kind of on your side of the table, and I'll talk about some things on my side of the house.
So a couple of wins that we didn't expect. I wasn't purposely trying to build the CFO accounting part of the company. We have been focused more so on taxes for businesses and individuals, but we had a lot of clients come in for the CFO accounting role. So that was an unexpected win.
Okay, that's great. I know one in particular that you all added kind of toward the second half of the year. I think that's going to be an exciting relationship. One of the ones, was that it? Was that the one you want to share?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to share two wins that we had. Well, one is from P3 Financial Group, the other is P3 Wealth Management. I'm going to start on the wealth management side first, which is the investment arm. We added over $12 million in assets under management this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that's no small feat for a firm our size. Now, you got, firms that can do that in one account. Well, for the clients we serve, again, that's no small feat, and I'm very, very grateful for that. Because that's $12 million in new assets that we added over there. Also, $12 million in assets under management. Also, on the P3 Financial Group side, we crossed the threshold of $100 million of in-force life insurance.
Woohoo!
Yeah, that's pretty big. That's pretty big. That deserves a clap.
I think so too.
That deserves a clap. So yeah, we crossed So what that means, guys, is that because of our efforts, because of the efforts of me and two other advisors here in the office, $100 million will change hands in the future based on an event that has a 100% probability of happening.
Right.
You think about that. And that's $100 million in wealth that's primarily going to our community because that's, primarily what our clients are. That's big. That's big.
That's a service to the community.
$100 million. And we still trucking now. We're not stopping. But again, we're grateful for that. And
that's awesome.
That's a huge win for us.
That's a very huge win. So what about some things that weren't planned, some wins that we didn't plan, but that opened the door?
Well, I'll start with what we're talking about, this podcast. I can remember this podcast certainly was not planned.
100% not planned.
I remember about 10, 15, no, more than 10, maybe 15, 16, 17 years ago, I just had the thought, this is back when our book club was very active. And I remember me thinking, the conversations we would have in that book club, what if thousands of people could hear these conversations? I remember me thinking that and not knowing one day that the opportunity would present itself to bring that same energy, some of those same conversations out to the masses. Who knew? My long-term friend, fraternity brother that owns Power 104.1, The Source, he made this opportunity available and we took advantage of it. So it's been great for us. Hope it's great for the listeners, but definitely didn't see that coming, but it's been a huge win.
This is an area where I try to teach people that I mentor or teach our girls that instead of saying, this can't happen.
Right.
How can this happen?
Absolutely.
And this podcast is an example of that. We've talked about it before, but we had absolutely no clue in how to do a podcast. But when we were presented with the opportunity, we could have said no.
Right.
Like this can't happen, or we chose to say, how can this happen? And then here we are toward the end of season 2. So
yeah, I'm going to add this. Not only could we have said no, it would have been easier to say no, because based on our schedules, extremely busy schedule, based on scheduling personal lives, things we're dealing with at the company. The company's doing very well, so it's not like we had any downtime that was just glaring. Like, okay, we ain't doing nothing on these days. We could work in No, that wasn't the case at all. It was there. We said, you know what? Let's do it. Let's make the time. And it's been a good thing.
Mm-hmm. And I pray that it's been impactful to our listeners.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What about client story that illustrates gratitude? We work with clients every day, and we have for a really long time. We've been in business,
since 2002.
So I'm extremely grateful. Talk about gratitude. I'm extremely grateful for that. So every day, our mission is to make an impact in our clients' lives by helping them plan, protect, and prosper. Mm-hmm. So give us an example of some gratitude dealing with a client.
Well, let me say this. First of all, you talk about gratitude and dealing with a client. I'm going to say this, and I really hope a lot of my clients are listening right now. I very rarely have a client that come out and say, hey, man, thank you. When I hear from my clients, typically it's because the whole market went down, not just what we did. The entire market went down. And or maybe, some sort of, request, something hadn't been filled as fast, But, I do have clients that are grateful, but this one particular client this year retired. She's been with me probably 20 years, 20 years, actually, maybe a little more, 20 years. And she caught, about 99% of everything we laid out 20 years ago came to fruition. And this was her retirement year, yeah. And after we did everything and finished up everything and, got everything squared away, the money's coming where it needs to come from and all that, she said, you know what, I want to thank you for all these years of working with me. And that just... it does, obviously I do, this is a for-profit corporation, so obviously we do what we do. We render service so we can earn income, so income is great. But for someone to be grateful for the expertise we bring to the table, it means
a lot. It really does.
It does mean a lot.
It means a lot. I probably get a few more than you because people can see the result of my work immediately.
Right.
I.e. what they owe or get back at the end of a tax return. But it is nice when you feel appreciated, even though you're just doing your job.
Yeah, just doing our job. Mm-hmm. So when I think about, you mentioned some of the clients that have expressed gratitude, I actually want to take a minute to say, as far as from a business perspective, who I'm thinking. I'm not dealing with family and friends right now, so y'all listening, don't feel slighted. I'm talking about business right now.
Don't get in your feelings.
Yeah, get out of your feelings. But I want to, when I think about team members, that I'm very, very grateful for our team we have here. We're not perfect, but I do say we do our best, and the team members do their best. So I want to call out all the names of our team members. Of course, Ebony, who's with me right here in the studio, of course. Kay, most of y'all know us Kay. Her real name is Quana. Our office manager, she does a great job. She's typically here. She's typically the first person here, last person to leave. Mahogany, my investment advisor assistant, who's gaining more knowledge every day. She does an outstanding job. She pursuing different credentials and certifications right now. Then we have my daughter, my oldest daughter, Rayanne. She works with Ebony on the tax side of the business.
Yeah, we love having her.
Yeah, absolutely. She's doing she's learning more. I've been noticing that she's getting more responsibility in that area.
She is, yeah.
And we have Dee, who's on the life side, so operations person on the life side. Dee, that's the first face. If you guys visit the office, she's the first face you see at the front. She constantly gets good feedback from clients saying she's very sweet on the phone and that sort of thing. So love having Dee. Then Sharonda and Melanie, the two other financial advisors here. So they've done a great job this year. They're pleasant to work with. And then, of course, we got Will, call him Big Will, that supports us in the tax team on the tax side and does some of the IT stuff for us. So
we really do have a good team, y'all.
We have a really good team. Not a large firm, but we do large firm stuff. All right? You would not know. We see our size as an advantage. All right. So, but yeah, I'm really grateful for our team members.
Yeah. And we have some strategic partners that we work with as well. Yeah. Want to talk about those?
Well, sure. One I've already mentioned, and that's the owner of the radio station. That's Lamont Cunningham, owner of Power 104.1 The Source, very strategic partner, longtime friend, roommate in college. Came up together in Jackson, Tennessee. But that's been a very strategic partnership, and I'm looking forward to that growing even more. Lamontis Woods, had him on the show earlier.
So we told you all before, but Lamontis was the very first person that we went into real estate with. Absolutely. First person went into real estate. He was actually if he wasn't the first financial planning client I had, he's definitely number 1, 2, or 3. So, but again, very strategic partnership there with everything we do in the real estate space. You have a strategic partner you want to mention? Yes, I want to say I am grateful for Monica Genius. She is a strategic partner of mine. So Monica is a very close friend of mine and a colleague. So we do the same thing. And a lot of times we're able to trade notes and just sometimes when I need a sounding board, for an accounting problem that I'm having or a strategy, she's my go-to person, and she's there all the time.
Very important to have people like that with you. You know, I think about mentors and coaches and things like that. I'm going to give a shout out to Daryl Thomas, who was a guest on the show. Actually, everybody we named been a guest of Lamartis, Monica, Daryl. They all been guests on the show.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah,
Huh.
but Daryl has been a mentor down through the years in the business space. You know, I call him and say, hey, man, what do you think about that? And we're not in the same business, obviously, but when you know business, you don't have to provide the same widget to understand what's good for a business.
True. And sometimes it takes someone from the outside, somebody that's not in that business, not connected to that business, to be able to see opportunities for you.
Right. And
that's the importance of having a mentor.
Absolutely. I'm going to give a shout out to my fitness instructor, Coach Raheem Shabazz.
Who's been on the show.
Who has actually been on the show. I'm going to give him a shout out. That's been great for me from a personal perspective. Giving my health what I needed to, because a lot of things have come from that. So got to give him a shout out as well as.
And I want to add Latina Thomas from a nutrition perspective. She's been on the show as well.
She has.
So you see how we pull on our mentors, because we know they've impacted our lives so much. We want to make sure that we can share those ideas with you all so that they can impact your lives as well. And Tina is a very close friend of ours and a naturopathic doctor. And anytime we have an issue or something, we can call her and she'll give us guidance.
Absolutely. Let me get a few more in before we can get up against the break. I want to shout out my boy Jeremy Smith. Now, he has been a great, I guess, mentor as well. You know, and he's been on the show. But when it comes to marketing ideas for my personal business, the podcast, I can always count on Jeremy to come through with something. Sometimes I call just so we can get each other hype. But yeah, I got to give a shout out to Jeremy, man. But I'm thankful for not just the people that I've mentioned, guys. I'm thankful for all of you. Now, one more person.
Okay.
And it's probably, if he's listening, he's probably like, man, I think one of my fraternity brothers, Emil Segui, texted me actually a couple of weeks ago and said, hey, man, listening to the podcast right now. You all are giving great information. Keep doing what you're doing. Man, that was such a shot in the arm for me. Just, again, get that feedback. So, Emil, again, thank you, team. It meant a lot to me, doggy, and I appreciate it. So, guys, we have to pause right here. We're coming right up on a break. When we get back, we're going to talk about some of the hard lessons that turned out to be a blessing, and we're going to shift from talking about what we're thankful for this year to what we want to carry into next year. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this break. Remember, it's time to elevate.
This episode of the Elevate Podcast is brought to you by P3 Wealth Management, a registered investment advisory firm registered in the state of Tennessee. Whether you're investing, preparing for retirement, or creating a lasting legacy, our team is here to guide you every step of the way. At P3 Wealth Management, we turn your financial goals into a strategy, so you can focus on living the life you worked hard for. Visit p3wealth.com to schedule your consultation today, or call us at 901-209-4015. That's p3wealth.com. Plan, protect, and prosper.
And we are back. You are joining the Elevate Podcast from Burnout to Bliss. And today, we've been talking about what we're grateful for in business. Right before the break, I mentioned that we'd be talking about the hard lessons this year that turned out for us to be a blessing. Eb, you want to talk about that real briefly?
Yeah. So one of them was an Airbnb that we have. Obviously, anytime you have an Airbnb, your bookings are going to be based on the tourism of the city that the Airbnb is in.
Right.
Unfortunately, right now, tourism is down in Memphis.
It sure is.
And so we saw a drastic decline in the number of bookings. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Versus what we saw when we initially got the Airbnb.
Yeah, I want to put a frame on it. When we first started using Airbnb and VRBO, all the different sites we were using, we were staying booked up, man, most months every weekend. Most months. And then on the bad month, it was 3 out of 4 weekends. That thing dropped down to, we had a couple of months we didn't get any.
We did. We had dry periods. And then also we found ourselves we used to have a 3-night minimum. We had to drop it down to a 2-night minimum. So it would at least come up in the searches. And we were having a hard time getting the 2-night minimum. And of course, anytime you have an Airbnb or something like that, you're doing it to make money, not to create a bill.
Absolutely. And one more thing I want to add, because I want the listeners to know that we don't just share all the wins This, we say we want to talk about a hard lesson trying to be a blessing. So, obviously what we're talking about, the revenue's going down. Well, it was it was getting to a place where we weren't bringing enough revenue to cover the cost of the Airbnb.
Right,
so, yeah.
right. So sometimes you have to be flexible and sometimes you have to pivot. And again, instead of saying this can't happen or this isn't going how it's planned, how can it happen? How can it go better? And so what we decided to do, so instead of having short-term rental like Airbnb, weekends, instead of putting a long-term tenant in there, like somebody signing a year lease, we went in between.
Right.
So we put it on a site called Furnish Finders, and Furnish Finders markets to people who are looking for monthly rentals, like maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 months. And we were able to get a tenant that was here for about 6 months for work.
Yeah.
And it pays more than if you were to have someone in there long term. So
absolutely. I'm going to take a little credit here. I told Eb, I said, Eb, you need to check our listing on that site. And she did. And turns out our listing had expired. And so she renewed the listing. And then I said, let's lower the price of what we were initially asking for that. We dropped it down. And the day she dropped it down, like 3, 4 people reached out, hey, I want it. And boom, got somebody in there 6 months, great revenue, more than covered the costs and got back in the profit land with that property.
Really so you have to be flexible and you have to be creative.
Yes.
Sometimes the problem is not going to be 1 + 1 = 2. Sometimes it's going to be 1 + 1 = 4, and you just have to make it work.
Right. Absolutely right. So it was a hard lesson, but again, just like you said, just pivoting and not being so rigid that you can't. Because at the end of the day, when you own an asset, the asset will make you money. It just may not make you money the direct way. And one of the things my partner Jeremy always talks about, especially in real estate, I always have a plan B that's ready to rock and roll.
That's what I was about to bring up. It has to be ready because you can pivot too late. If you wait too long to pivot, you might as well have not done it because it's too late to recover.
Yep.
So once you realize that there's a problem, you need to act on it and pivot quickly so that you can still make some type of progress.
You do. I'm gonna throw this in here. It may not fit on our outline at all, but it goes no, for real. It goes exactly what you just said. I'm gonna share another story. I remember Eb said you can pivot too late. I'm gonna share something with you guys. Years ago, when fresh out of college, back in the day, we were doing very well in the network marketing business. Well, when that ended, because it ended very abrupt. What I did not do was change my spending to match my new income. I did not pivot. And it took me a while because I was still spending like I was still getting it, and I wasn't. So that taught me very, very early on and a very hard lesson. You have to pivot quickly. Very quickly, man. And so anyway, it just brought that back up when you mentioned that because that's the thing I've tried to share with people down through the years. Like, hey, you need to on a dime. If things change, you change right with it.
And to your point, I had a client, and both of the husband and the wife were in the same industry. They actually worked for the same company. Did extremely well, both of them professionals, and that company closed. So both of them lost their job at the exact same time. They pivoted immediately. They sold their home. Okay. They rented a home that was less than what their mortgage was, and then they didn't have the overhead of repairs and things like that.
Smart.
They switched from private school to public school and gave themselves an opportunity and time to figure out what was next. And because of that, they did not have any negative financial consequences.
Overhang, yeah. Oh man, that was great. Pivoting. All right, so let's talk about, that's great. Let's talk about some of the things we want to take with us into 2026. Some of the money lessons we've learned. Hey, we just gave y'all a good one actually, that we want to take from 25 into, because we talk about hard times, whatever. 25 has been more good than bad for me.
Yes.
So what are some of the good things we want to take with us into 26?
So one thing is cash flow clarity. Okay. So that is knowing exactly where your money is going. So knowing, that's so important. So you need to look for holes, both your business finances and your personal finances. And those holes can be something as simple as subscriptions or streaming services or late fees because you didn't schedule a payment. Just schedule it. Or even your daily coffee run. Those are holes that is just pulling and pulling and pulling on your cash flow. So got to know where your money's going.
You actually said it different the second time. I was going to, no. You said exactly the way I would have said it. What she said, you always know where your money is going. Most people know where their money went. Mm-hmm. So what that means is by the time you call yourself tracking, you're not tracking because you're looking at a past statement, your monthly statement that shows you where everything went. That's not tracking. That's looking in the rearview mirror. If you're tracking, you know in real time how much you're spending per category, how much of your money is going toward entertainment, how much is going toward, household expenses or bills or just whatever. So again, I like how Ed put it, know where it's going, not where it went. You got to have a mechanism to track your money in real time.
Let me add another hole that sometimes people may not think about. Mm-hmm. Convenience fees.
Yeah.
So when you DoorDash, instead of getting in your car and going to get it, that may be $10 extra. When you Instacart, instead of going to get it, all of those extra fees, those add up.
They definitely add up.
And you may not think about it because it's something that you do on a regular basis, but add them up for the year and you'd be really, really surprised. You may decide to get some extra steps in and go get it yourself.
Exactly. One of the lessons I want to I'm taking with me, but more importantly, I'm encouraging listeners, especially business owners, and that's going to be to pay yourself consistently. Mm-hmm. I've been guilty of this, especially in the early years of my business, but if I could do it over, I'd have done it much differently. There were times, years in business, where I was the last person to get paid. And now, in an early episode, you heard me say that unless you're willing to do that, you probably don't want to go into business,
correct,
especially if you're going to have employees. But what I'm telling you is, for as a business owner, if you're in the planning phase, or if you're already a current business owner, pay yourself consistently, because if you don't do that, you're basically saying, okay, whatever's left over, that's just what I'll make it off, and that's not the way you want to do it. Especially if you're trying to qualify for things like loans and things of that nature. That's going to make banks real nervous to lend to you, and it's going to make it difficult for you to expand what it is you're doing. So pay yourself, and if you're starting a business, I just gave someone this advice week before last. I said, look, I was looking at how much they said they needed to get going. I said, no, y'all don't even have your salaries included. Mm-hmm. Come up with the capital on the front end to pay yourself for the first 3 years. If you can't come up with that capital, don't go into business just yet. Mm-hmm. Some people say start on the shoestring. You can do that, but I'm telling you, I will put the effort, time, sweat into getting that capital I needed so I could go full force and not have to do it on the shoestring budget after I get off my full-time job. If that's the path I'm trying to go on. If you're something you're just doing on the side, that's different. Mm-hmm. But if you're trying to make this your main thing, I say put in the effort now to get the capital you need so that you can consistently pay yourself.
And if you have any aspirations on selling your business, you have to pay yourself.
Yep.
No one is going to buy your business and assume that your position is going to be a volunteer position.
Correct.
They need to see the numbers with someone doing what you do and getting paid to do it.
Absolutely.
You may be in profit because you're not paying yourself, but once you start paying yourself for someone that is going to perform those same duties, you may not be in profit land, and they're not going to buy your business.
That's right, because they're going to want to hire you to do it because they don't want to do it.
Right.
They're buying it for the profit. So,
and you're not going to continue to do it.
You're not going to continue to do it. So again, like Eb said, hey, if the paper don't show that you could have paid yourself and they could have gotten a profit, they're probably not going to buy your business. Mm.
Another thing we want to take into 2026 is tax planning early, not late. So we had a whole episode on what you can do now to prepare for your 2026 taxes 2025 taxes while we're still in 2025. Mm-hmm. So you don't want to wait until 2026 and look at historical information because you can't change it.
That's right.
So start tax planning early.
And you can go back and listen to the episode on the Elevate podcast on YouTube, so you can still hear the episode because it was a great episode. One other thing, I want to talk about leadership lessons. Lessons. Now, this is a lesson I learned. I've been learning this lesson, but I'm reading a book right now called Extreme Ownership. And in that book, they break it down way more than I've ever seen it explained to me before. Mm-hmm. And they're talking about basically what they call decentralized command.
Okay.
So the lesson, so the overarching lesson is delegating and releasing control. But the point they make is basically pushing decision-making ability down throughout the organization. Idea being, one, you've equipped that person to make a decision. Mm-hmm. And we're not just talking about tasks, we're talking about actual decisions, being able to say yes or no, pushing decisions down so every decision don't have to bubble up to you. Mm-hmm. And it can truly free you up to work on the business and not always in the business. And that has been very, very good for me, and I'm definitely taking that with me into 2026.
I like that a whole lot. Another thing is to focus on what's profitable.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have areas of our business that we enjoy more than others, but the one that we enjoy may not be the most profitable. Mm-hmm. You actually may be losing money in the one that you enjoy, but you keep it because it's fun or it's your passion. But you need to spend time and focus on what's actually profitable in your business.
To that point, Eb, I'm going to share something with the listeners. Now, this has already been on social media. This has already gone out to our investment clients, so it's not breaking news, but to the wider world, it's news. We made a decision, not an easy decision, but we made a decision starting in 2026 that the minimum account value for a new client relationship is going to be $100,000. Mm-hmm. Now, we could have easily set that number much higher, but to date, it's been $10,000. Mm-hmm. Well, to Eb's point, we had to, and we met as an entire team to talk about this, but what we had to decide was, based on our bandwidth of what we could service effectively and the profits that we need to be able to do what we do, we had to make a call on where the new client relationships would come from.
Right.
So this is an example of making, tough decisions, but decisions that elevate and move your company in the right direction. So, we're not just giving you all advice, we're taking it ourselves.
Mm-hmm. So another thing, as we move into 2026, let's talk about gratitude.
Okay.
So it is so important to have a grateful spirit to those that you lead.
Yes.
A person can only be a leader if someone is willing to follow. So as a business owner or as a leader in your organization or your company, yes, there are people that may report to you that have to do certain things because it's their job.
Right.
But you still should approach those people and your whole career with us in a gratitude space.
Yes.
It just makes everything sweeter.
Yeah, because our employees, our team members that we talked about earlier, they do work for us, work for here at P3. However, they could work somewhere else.
They really could.
So because they choose to build and grow and laugh and cry and stress and celebrate here with us.
And trust our leadership.
I'm very, very grateful for that. Mm-hmm. So you're right. You have to be a grateful leader. Mm-hmm. That's a word right there. Thanks for that. So guys, we're going to use that as a point to transition out of this segment and take a quick break to listen to some advertisement here, and we'll be right back. In this last segment, we're going to talk about some encouragement and action steps. We always give you some action steps for our entrepreneurs as we go into this holiday season. Stay with us through the break. Remember, it's time to elevate.
Real estate investors, the year's almost over, but your tax strategy shouldn't be. At P3 Financial Group, we specialize in helping investors make smart moves before December 31st. From maximizing depreciation and write-offs to structuring your entities the right way, we'll help you keep more of what you earn. Don't just file taxes, plan them. Call P3 Financial Group today or visit p3financialgroup.com to schedule your year-end strategy session.
And we're back. This is the Elevate Podcast with Reggie and Ebony. And today we are talking about what we're thankful for in business. Mm-hmm. So now it's time for encouragement and action. We always give you some action steps.
Right.
So give us a word for that tired entrepreneur who just feels like they are spinning their wheels every single day.
Man, Lord knows I have been there. Sometimes I find myself back there. Here's what I would say to the entrepreneur that feels behind, you feel overwhelmed, maybe even discouraged, especially, again, like we talked about earlier, this time of the year, you're like, okay, I'm looking back, the goals I wrote down this time last year, where I would be, maybe you hit them, maybe you coming up a little short. But here's what I will say that I want you to remember. You have accomplished way more than you realize.
Yes.
I promise you have.
Show yourself some grace.
Yes, show yourself some grace. Give yourself a pat on the back because you have I think about a good friend of mine who I know right now is putting everything he got into a particular business. And when you look back, I know he and I talk all the time. He hadn't hit the numbers he wanted to hit, But he has created something that he has laid the foundation for something that's going to be huge. And I'm just sitting back with anticipation, waiting to come into fruition. But again, you've accomplished, guys, way more than you realize. So, and here's the thing. Some people would say put that same number, those same goals on the page till you hit them. I'm going to tell you to bump it up a little bit. Bump it up a little bit. If the goal was to be $1 million in revenue last year, you came up 750. Man, I want you to go to 1.2 this year, or whatever the case may be, okay? So keep striving, keep pushing, but the main thing is, remember, you accomplished way more than you realize. And one more thing, this year not over.
It's not.
The year is not over. It's still 5 weeks left in this year. So don't use this time period as, again, you just kind of put it on cruise control.
Like a lame duck period.
Yeah, it's not a lame duck period, man. We got work through. I help coach softball. And one of the things we tell the base runners, when you hit the ball, the first base is the only base you can overrun. Tell everybody, run through first base. They give you this the only one you can do that with. Stop letting up before you hit first base. So don't let up before December 31st. Keep pushing. Make those calls. Send that email. Ask for the business. Whatever it is you need to do, follow up. Whatever it is you need to do it now. And you can still close out 2025 as strong as you want to.
And I want to add, even if things didn't go how you planned this year, even if you closed your business this year, as long as it was done with intention and forward thought to what's next, you are still good. You're still successful. Sometimes businesses close, unfortunately, for various reasons. That doesn't mean that you're a failure. That just means that you have something coming up next, that you can focus on. Right.
So go ahead and I'm gonna throw this in the air. Just go ahead and reset now. Like I use this time of year to start mapping out, my numbers for next year. To start mapping out what seminars we're gonna do, what webinars, what just kind of the whole deal. Go ahead and reset now, and then ramp up to it. Run through December, and then ramp up to it, and just kind of plow right through December 31st. So you come out the gate strong. And, basically don't wait until January 1 or January 2.
To ramp up.
No, ramp it up now.
So you're hitting go at the beginning of the year.
You're in mid-stride. Just take out running.
And so I want to challenge you guys to do a business gratitude audit.
Okay.
What is that, you say?
Yeah, that is exactly what I was thinking.
So it's going to be 4 things that you think about. Okay. 1 is what worked. Number 2 is what didn't.
Okay.
Number 3 is who helped you grow. And number 4 is interesting. It's what you will stop doing in 2026. A lot of times with New Year's resolutions, we talk about what we're going to start doing in the new year. This is what you're going to stop doing in the new year. Okay.
So off the top of your head, can we answer some of these?
Yeah.
Okay. What you got? So just one thing that worked in 2025 or has worked.
For us on the tax side is technology.
Okay.
We were really able to streamline by using our online portal with clients getting information to us and us sharing information back with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, look, I'm gonna use that same answer. I'm gonna answer number 4. What did we stop doing in 2026? Well, I'm gonna tell you what we stopped doing in 2025. We cut out two pieces of software that we had been using for a long time, actually. But when I looked at it, we weren't really using them consistently, and it was costing $400 or $500 a month. So we cut it out.
Yeah.
And I don't know why it felt weird to say it. I don't want like I'm gonna miss something. I hadn't missed. It's been 2 months or so. Hadn't missed it yet. So anyway, that's something I stopped doing this year.
Yep. And then I also want you guys to think about for the new year, one thing that you're gonna automate, one thing that you're gonna outsource, and one thing that you're gonna let go.
All right, I want to talk about these.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
You said I want to talk about these.
No, well, I want us to talk about them. One thing to automate. Guys, we have dedicated an entire episode, I can't remember if it's the first season, second season, to AI, but just go out there and find it. AI has the ability to automate some tasks and some low-level decision kind of stuff that will do it more consistently with as much precision, if not more, then you would do it yourself. And I've integrated some AI into my practice. So pick out something that you can automate, that you can I put it like this, you can tell chat right now to search your calendars and look for whatever, and it send you an email if he sees this. It's all kind of stuff that can be automated these days.
Yep, you can tell chat to prioritize your email based on what needs responses and draft sample responses.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, this podcast is about from burnout to bliss. If you are burnt out, or if you want to keep from becoming burnt out, you better learn to automate some stuff. Mm-hmm. You better learn to automate.
What about one thing to outsource?
Oh, man, you definitely better learn to outsource some stuff.
Yeah.
Let me speak on that right quick, Ed. Outsourcing, it may be as simple as hiring a person in-house to do something that you don't want to do or you don't have the time to do. Or it may be to completely pay someone outside of your company to do it. But the main thing that I want to get across, especially to my smaller practice entrepreneurs, although there's a point in your business where you've worn many hats, you have to do it out of necessity. Trust me, you have to move past that point. It's to me, and I'm telling you, I'm speaking on what I know. It is worth you taking profits, whatever you got, and put them into one good person to do the things that don't drive revenue, the things that have to be done, so that you can focus on the bigger things that bring in the revenue. Mm-hmm. It's worth you doing it, man. And I know it's easy to say, well, okay, I'll knock this out. Well, I'll do this when I get back to the house. Well, da-da-da-da. Every time you do that, when it's something that's more support function, every time you do that, that's time you're not focusing on bringing in more revenue. So I'm telling you, man, either outsource it by bringing it up off of you and putting it on somebody else in the company, or putting it paying somebody outside the company to do it.
Mm-hmm. And you can outsource in your personal life, too. We all know that business owners and entrepreneurs are busy, but high-level executives are busy as well.
Yeah.
They have really high demand at their jobs. And so you can outsource personal things like laundry service. Mm-hmm. You can bag up your laundry, drop it off, they wash it, fold it, and you come back and pick it up. Yep. So think about ways to outsource both professionally and personally.
To that point, I used to think about when you grow up, you're watching TV and stuff, and you see, people paying people to clean their home, or people to, come service the car, or da-da-da. I used to look at all this, oh, man, they just too tired, too lazy to do it themselves or whatever. Now I look at it differently. I'm like, no, it's that they're spending their time and energy on not necessarily higher priority things for them, things that may drive more revenue, or things that free up their time to do, just to relax. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes doing nothing is the best something you can do.
That is true. And then one thing to let go. So just do some soul searching and think about one thing that you can let go in 2026 that will improve your business life.
I think we need to expound on it a little more.
Okay.
You talk about one thing to let go. Give us an example.
Well, we gave you one example that we let go in 2025, software, or it may be a service offering.
Yes, there you go.
So if there's a service that you're providing and it's just not giving you a good return, then you might want to consider letting go of that service offering. It's okay. Like, you don't have to continue to offer every single thing that you offered when you first started your company.
Right. And just because you can do it don't mean you should do it. I'm going to throw another one in there. You have to be willing. No, not willing. Sometimes you got to let go of a particular customer or a particular client. If that person is a constant headache, they are not worth nearly the amount of pain they cause you. They destroy your peace. Let it go.
Yeah.
By holding on to these relationships, sometimes you're showing a lack of faith in what it is you're doing, because you feel like, I got to take this abuse or else I can't make it. You know what I'm saying? Man, look, let that person go, man. Let it go, and I guarantee you keep grinding, keep doing the things you're supposed to do, you're going to more than make up for that irritating relationship. Just having that person gone is going to take a weight off your shoulders. Somebody needs to hear this. Let them go.
Yes.
They're not worth it.
And we can speak from personal experience.
You're doggone right.
Oh, my gosh. A number of clients, but one specifically, it was a client that we had on the tax and accounting side, and it was just an extremely stressful engagement. I had zero peace.
Sure did.
On vacations, on weekends, they just, even if I didn't actually do the work, the fact that they were contacting me, it just completely interrupted my peace and it affected my health.
That's what I was about to say. It was more than just Ebony's peace. It literally, what's the condition you got? You had?
Bell's palsy.
Yeah, it was literally affecting her health because this person was stressful as all get out. And you know, when that relationship ended, it was like the sun shined on the company for the next 90 days. You know what I'm saying? So, man, look, I'm telling you, if you got here's the thing. If you're in business, I'm going to say this. If you're in business and you got a customer or clients that stress you out, that is your fault because you can choose who you want to do business with.
That's true.
Because your doors are open don't mean you got to service that person. Man, get rid of them.
Yeah. And so let's talk about some boundaries in that same vein because setting boundaries are important. But as we enter this holiday season, we want to make sure that we're taking time for ourselves as well. Yes, you may have a demanding schedule. Yes, you may have a business to run. Yes, you may have a high-profile career. But you still need time. And the best way to do that is to set boundaries and make those boundaries known. So you want to set your business hours early because your clients need to know what to expect. You want to communicate your availability. And then you want to be able to take a real guilt-free break. You deserve a break. You've been working all year long. You deserve a break.
You do.
And then take time and make space to rest so January is as chaotic. If there's some things that you need to kind of work out, use this time now so January you can just hit the ground running.
Absolutely. When you talk about taking that guilt-free break, that really touched me because sometimes when I'm at home and I haven't taken anything home to do from the office, I feel like I'm not being productive. I feel like I'm wasting time. Then I have to say, you know what? I mean, that's kind of the point. You know, I'm up very early actually, working all day for the most part, and then you get home, and then I have a hard time sometimes just sitting there, you know, reading, watching TV or whatever it is I'm doing. But you have to take a break.
You have to. And when you're a doer, it's hard to do that because you're thinking about all the stuff that needs to get done.
That's exactly right. Now, in the book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, it encourages you to take downtime, you know, 1 out of 7 days, which I do every week. Every week. Yes, I do not work. I pretty much don't work in the weekends, but I definitely don't work on the 7th day of the week. So, you know, I just encourage everybody to take some downtime. You have to recharge your mental batteries, spiritual batteries, physical batteries. They all have to be recharged.
Yes. Well, this has been an amazing episode, and I'm super excited about the possibility of 2026 and just getting a chance to end 2025 on a high note. So I want to encourage everybody and remind everybody that you have so much to be grateful for.
You do.
Even if this year was not perfect, you still have so much to be grateful for.
You do. And I promise you, there's 100 people right now to give anything to trade places with you right now. All right, so Eb, go ahead and give them my sign-offs, and we're going to get out their way.
So you can find us on social media for the Elevate Podcast on YouTube at Elevate Now Podcast. You can also find me on social media at Eb, EBTHEADVISOR, Eb the Advisor.
All right, yep, and you can catch me at The Money Jedi on Facebook and Instagram as well. And, of course, you can always call the office for either one of us, 901-209-4015. Guys, that is it for us today. We hope you all again had a great Thanksgiving weekend, and we look forward to being back with you for one more episode in this season. Then we'll be taking a break, and we're coming back next season with some very powerful content that we've already been talking about. We're really getting ramped up for it. We're really excited.
We'll see you next week on the Elevate Podcast.
Remember, guys, it's time to elevate.
Hey, Elevate fam. Are you a business or brand looking to get in front of an audience that's all about leveling up in life, business, and mindset? Then let's partner up. The Elevate Podcast is now accepting sponsors. That means you can get your brand heard by a growing community of go-getters, creatives, and purpose-driven listeners right here on the show. Whether it's a product shout-out, an ad spot, or a custom collaboration, we've got options for you. Want in? Hit us up at elevatenowtraining.com. Let's elevate together.